Okay, maybe, just maybe, Kelvin might have a bit of a battle junkie issue here, because one could argue up to this point, everyone that he's gone up against has rightfully got their asses handed to them, or have at the very least challenged him, so it was an even playing field. But those poor, unfortunate bastards, man. I mean, you can think whatever you want about the heroes. I mean, they are just doing their job. They have a heroic task. Yeah, maybe some take it a little, they kind of get in their own head, but who the hell wouldn't when you're being placed on a pedestal that you're going to go save the world? And they're leveling up, they're not weak in the slightest, hell, they are the main course, as Kelvin would call them. But those poor bastards, I mean, at first, I didn't really clue in to what was happening, because the way they were directing it, right, he was saying, like, the main course, and I was like, what in the actual hell is he talking about? Because, obviously, the leaders of the bandit group here, like, I knew that wasn't the main course, like, I thought there was something else, like, another person above them, or, I don't know, something like that, like, maybe they were a small group, a part of a larger group, and then, to see the mother and daughter scene, it's hilarious how he unexpectedly roped basically this mother and daughter about to get horribly just... The scene speaks for itself, right? But they save the day before anything can happen. And the fact of the matter is, when the little girl's like, don't you dare hurt the slime, right? Because the slime's guarding. He's like, you gotta go help him because no matter what, you know, there's like 14 bandits in there. There's no way they can do it alone. They unexpectedly, after being cautious because this doesn't feel right, there's no enemies, like they're being logical, like it's too easy. There's something dangerous waiting here. And the first thing they bump into is basically this slime monster, but apparently it's a part of this group that saved them. So they immediately let their guard down, and then they see the bandits that got their asses handed to them, thinking it's the party who saved the captured slaves. And of course, we have our crew sitting there looking evil as shit because he just wants to fight something strong. Like, I'm not saying he's gonna kill the heroes or anything, but this is like the first time I feel like he truly overstepped, and it's gonna be incredible to witness because really we're gonna have characters who have abilities similar to his own. So it could provide sort of a pretty amazing fight, all things considered, given the fact that, well, you have a badass knight, a badass bowwoman, and now you have a badass potential future demon king who very much can break things with a single flick of her finger. So that's gonna be exciting, if not terrifying. And the fact that he literally roped in the heroes in such a way, like, I thought originally the reason he was using the heroes with the guildmaster there is like, he's like, hey, let them deal with it so I can go fight something stronger. Like, yeah, maybe if they're like 20 levels higher, I'd be interested. I thought that was the direction they're going, and to see the actual payoff, all you can say is those unfortunate souls, man. There's no way, like, if they actually are able to end in a draw, I'll be shocked, but man, I am, interested, to say the least, to see what's gonna happen. And I mean, I kind of just imagine the way they would want to go with this is that they're going to think that Kelvin and his party are the evil characters that they need to defeat. He'll probably defeat them, and they're gonna probably assume that that's the main opponent they need to defeat, and they'll have to train to prepare for him, and if they ever bump into him again, they're gonna challenge him thinking he's the final boss, which he technically probably is, but just not in the way that they're expecting. This episode was a riot, man. I'm loving this one more and more. It's kind of crazy because a show that was actually one of my least anticipated of the season has quickly become one of the more anticipated episodes every week for me. Like this one, like just starting my Saturday with this anime, just, it always brings a grin to my face. It's so fun, but the characterization and the building of these moments are so nice. Like, the fact of the matter is, you know, we end last week with essentially a person who we were convinced was an evil character. Turned out to be basically the father figure to Sarah here, and the fact of the matter is there's so much that he wasn't able to do for her, like take her to the ocean and show her all these things, and now Kelvin is keeping his promise and showing her that on his accidental quest to be like the best battle junkie ever. And I thought it was kind of funny because it kind of seems like she's also a battle junkie, maybe not quite as extreme, but I mean that moment where you like capture the bandits and they're talking about how their boss is like level 70 and he goes in, she goes in, you're like, how about you tell me more about that? I want to fight that. It's just hilarious to see that there's no real restraining of this guy anymore, and it's gonna be interesting because once he does probably defeat the Demon King or the Demon Queen, the big monster that he's gonna have to fight eventually in this show, and the heroes are doing something, probably lifting weights because they can't deal with this guy, what does he actually fight? Does he fight a god, a goddess? I don't know. Best Menu Goddess is apparently about to get a hot anime avatar and, is basically going to be traveling along. And I love the fact that there's this moment with Best Slime and Best Knight talking inside his head, having a little kind of group meeting and be like, understandable why she went to get her own body, given that he's surrounded by two beauties, and basically they're just realizing what's happening around him. But I'm glad that rather than it just being like a harem in the way of like, oh, they're all like fawning over him and then he's just getting flustered with no development, like basically it just kind of feels like a mismatched family right now. Like you have a slime, a knight, elf, and a demon girl, and just the way they go about presenting their personalities, how they should clash, but they actually mesh all at the same time. It's hard not to get a kick out of it as you simultaneously have a menu goddess who sometimes is there, and when she's not there, you're just waiting for her next antics, and it'll be interesting to see how long it takes for her to get back there with one of her kind of body doubles there. But it'll be fun to see, man. This was a great, great episode. We're now officially halfway through the season of Black Summoner, and I really hope it's not going to be a one-and-done season, because I think this world has a lot of potential. But more so than just the world, I think the character pairings and the dynamics that we're seeing, from the heroes to the goddess and her relationship with them, to just his party and how they go about presenting themselves, rather than it just feeling like they're all latching onto him for the romantic reasons. There's a lot of like emotional and I think better character reasons than just that. He's not an emotionless asshole who doesn't feel things. He gets flustered, he gets a little embarrassed, but he has his drive of being a battle junkie, and it's interesting to see how the characters just kind of support him, if not criticize him, a bit from the distance there, and it'll be fun to see what they do. I thought it was great to have another show this season, basically have an out-of-body food experience. This time it's surrounding rice, which understandable, something that this world seemingly doesn't have, but he could probably make, given the kind of almost identical Japan-like setting and being close to the water and everything. So it'll be interesting to see if he gets his big bowl of rice after smacking the heroes around for no reason other than wanting a brawl. But yeah, man, this show is absolutely unexpected in ways that you can't quite predict, and I'm interested to see how the heroes will do, because they're going to show us some cool-ass abilities guaranteed. Unfortunately for them, you're going to have to deal with someone who's going to be laughing as he punches you, and you're going to think he's the worst of the worst, as you then go probably train to deal with him in the future. And those poor unfortunate souls, but their quest is to defeat evil, and as far as they can tell, that's the evil they need to defeat. I mean, sure, they don't realize it just yet, they think he's just a bandit, but I mean, once he unleashes what he probably will, there's no way they don't assume he's the Demon King by the time that fight's over. I mean, it'll be interesting. I mean, it's not often you can have a show where you're summoned into a world with other heroes, and by episode 6, you essentially have them fighting, having a conflict for no reason other than, I want to see how strong you are, but leave it to Black Summoner. Definitely an unexpected gem of the season, and I really, really hope this isn't going to be the only season we get of it. But thoughts down below, what do you hope to see next week other than the obvious answers? So to let me know, be sure to leave a like if you enjoyed and subscribe if you're new around here. Till next time, everyone, please take care and have a good one.